sincerely, honestly, and hopefully. So I encourage you to listen actively, take notes, and reflect on how these ideas apply to your own leadership journey. This is not just a conversation, it's a shared learning moment. You are encouraged to drop your questions while the show is on, or comments or contribution in the chat. We endeavor to attend to most questions as much as possible at the right time. And if this conversation resonates with you, please feel free to share the insights afterwards, because conversation like this matter. Our guest is already in the house waiting patiently for us to beckon on her. So we'll be starting shortly. I'm excited to welcome our guest to diving into all this important discussion right after this time out. Please remain connected. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Are you looking for a perfect space to host your next event and gathering? Welcome to Thomasville Event Center, located at Penthouse Estates along Piakasa Road. Thomasville Event Center is a spacious and well-designed venue, ideal for weddings, birthday celebrations, corporate events, meetings, church services, and more. With a comfortable layout that allows free movement and a serene atmosphere, it's a space where every gathering feels organized, welcoming, and memorable. Make every moment meaningful. Thomasville Event Center, where every moment becomes a memory.
You are welcome.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You are welcome back. Before we went on that short break, I did tell you that our guest is already in the house. But before I bring her up, I would like to give a brief introduction about our guest for you to know the person we are bringing to share insight on the topic. So to help us do justice to the various burning questions on this important topic, we are honored today to have as our special guest a woman of substance, distinguished professional, and an entrepreneur par excellence. Our special guest is no other than Pastor Mrs. Tope Oreosefe Omagi. I hope I didn't murder the name. She was appointed a non-executive member of the board of directors of First Bank Nigeria PLC in the year 2021. She had a distinguished and meritorious career at the Central Bank of Nigeria, from where she retired as Director of Finance after 35 years of meritorious service. Remarkably, she was the first female to be appointed a Director of Finance at the Central Bank of Nigeria. She was Director Branch Operations, overseeing the 37 branches of the Central Bank of Nigeria nationwide from 2012 to 2014. Over the years, she has built up skills in finance, audit, and compliance, amongst others. She is currently the chairman of Novelty Healthcare Limited. She holds an MBA and Master in Philosophy and has attended several courses, seminars, conferences, and workshops in Nigeria, the UK, and the United States of America at top-rated institutions including Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, and Northwestern University. Tope is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management, member of the Institute of Directors, and Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. She is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, a member of the prestigious Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, and certified mediator. She is also an honorary senior member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. She has served on various committees of ICAN and is Abuja and District Society. She is on the board of trustees of the ICAN Entrepreneurship Development Center Initiative. She is on the board of Trinity University and also the board of trustees of Limitless Girls Foundation. Amongst her many accomplishments, Pastor Tope Omage has authored and published 2 books, Enjoying Family Life, God's Recipe, and Finding Calm in the Storm, The Power of Silence. She is an ordained pastor and a sought-after speaker. Pastor Tope was on the Executive Council and a life member of the Women in Management, Business and Public Service, WIMSBIS, following her retirement from the CBN, that is Central Bank of Nigeria. Pastor Omage took up consulting and events management. She runs an NGO, Heritage for Women and Youth Empowerment Initiative. She serves on the advisory boards of PSC and is the chairperson at Novelty Healthcare Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, you can agree with me that we have indeed a woman of substance, very loaded CV. Please join me in making welcome our special guest for today's show, Pastor Tope Omage, CFE FCA. Pastor, you are most welcome. We are glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
To have a well-rounded woman of substance on our show today. You are most welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Itayo. Thank you, everybody. Good evening and good day wherever you are listening to us.
Thank you very much. Without much ado, we'll just dive straight into our interview segment. When we talk about economy being against you, many leaders nod immediately because they feel it every day. From your own experience, Pastor, what are the biggest pressure business leaders are facing right now? And what do you think is most misunderstood about leading in an uncertain economy?
Thank you very much, Madam. Economy being against us you have so many things to say about the economy being against us. When you talk of the changes, digitization, you talk about real-time info, you talk about global geopolitics, all that is happening between Russia and America. So many things are happening so fast. But the biggest fear of the business leaders is the policy inconsistency. There is so much change. There is so much happening so fast. For example, you have made your plans at the beginning of the year. You are all set. Then there's policy in terms of Forex. Maybe your source of Forex is blocked. Maybe your raw materials have been banned. Policy inconsistency, policy somersault is the greatest pain of any business leader because you are not too sure of your plans. Even the foreign investors who may want to come, they cannot plan for 2-3 years because they don't know what is going to happen. So, what is most misunderstood? The leader wants a steady environment to plan. So it is not as if they are there for the short run. They are there for a marathon, to build a business, to sustain it, and they have it outlive them. But the general opinion is that most Nigerian businesses cannot go more than one generation. Not so. If the environment is conducive, supportive, I believe every business person wants a business that will outlive them.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that detailed explanation. I believe that actually resonates with many business leaders. Thank you. Let's talk about staying steady as a leader. You've mentioned policy inconsistency, which is part of the uncertainty that businesses are facing. We know that uncertainty doesn't just happen and it doesn't test balance sheets. It takes judgment, emotional discipline, and leadership maturity. And to this extent, you have many leaders asking, how do I stay calm when everything feels urgent? How do I make decisions without complete information? How do I even keep my team motivated when I myself feel the pressure? So, Pastor Maggie, I will ask you, in your own view, what does staying steady really mean for a business leader in times like this? And what habits or mindsets can help us to stay afloat?
Thank you very much for that question. It's very relevant to our economy. How does a leader stay steady? You are a leader because you are supposed to be influencing others. You are a leader because others are supposed to look up to you. So the first thing to be able to stay steady is to have a long-term goal, a strategic plan, maybe for 5 years. So you have a place where you want to be. So when the storms are tossing you back and forth, you already have a focus of where you want to be. And as a leader, you have to lead by example. You have to show that you are not ruffled. Because when a leader collapses in the face of trial, what will his staff do? The favorite statement I put is, what will iron do when gold rusts? So we all know, having done business in the Nigerian economy, that anything can happen. Government can make policies that may not be favorable. So for you, you need to have your long-term goals, have your core values, and have those things that when the chips are down or when things are shaking back and forth, you will hold on to those particular core values that you want to have. And because in business we have cyclical times, you can wait for the thing to blow over. I remember a time in this same Nigeria, people were given licenses to import rice. So many people had imported rice. There was a ban on rice. People were given money to go and set up farms and begin to plant. People started planting. All of a sudden, there was a somersault. But if you know what you are doing and you do your budget very well, you will just focus on your core value. It may blow over. I have an example. Maybe I'll give it later.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I know we are in for a full blast today. There's so much to say for little time. Thank you, wonderful comments you have made, and for us to be steady, it's like imperative for us as leaders, because the example, the statement you made, which I believe also is a very powerful one, is if you as a leader is ruffled or troubled, then what would your team do? And you have used that iconic statement by saying, if gold will rust, what will iron do? To break to pieces. I just laugh. Thank you very much for that. So it behoves on us as leaders to make sure that we have that internal strength to keep us steady. So let's bring this down to the practical level, because this concerns practical strategies and real decisions. Many leaders listening to us today are asking, what do I prioritize when resources are limited? What should I stop doing? What deserves protection even in tough times? So, Pastor, from your own experience, which I believe is very vast, what practical decision separates leaders who survive in uncertain time, like uncertainty, from those who crumble under it?
Thank you very much. In times like this, the first thing you will want to do is to lay off staff, is to cut costs. But like you asked in the beginning, a leader must be steady, a leader must be balanced. Even when the winds are blowing, you sit down and assess what, you take the pros and the cons. If I demobilize, it's more expensive than to remobilize. So if you want to be lean, you look at areas where it will not be too expensive to remobilize. Staff are difficult to get, especially faithful ones, experienced ones, those you have trained in the business. They have the goal congruence with you. So if things are tough and they say lay off staff, it is not very wise to just lay off staff without thinking. Call them together. You can shrink some allowances or slice off some allowances. Then in your business, you look at areas where you can cut costs without losing value. So you cut costs without losing value. You try to rationalize staff, not just to lay them off, because having to re-employ, those who are in business will tell you when your staff go and you want to get new ones, cost of employing the new ones is higher And then their knowledge, their experience, their commitments, you still need to prove over time. So when times are hard, keep your old customers, maintain them because you have proved loyalty with them. Keep your staff, but negotiate costs with them, and also try to look at areas of waste, areas of synergy, cutting costs without losing value.
Thank you very much. Cutting costs without losing value. That is very important. Yes, by all means, operate lean operation, but without panic. That's what that means. No panic cuts that could eventually endanger the stability of the business. Because, like our guest said, it's difficult to now get those reliable staff back if you say because the costs are rising and cost of operation is getting out of hand, you just lay off people. If you now want to bring them back, you may not get the same hands, and you are not even sure if you get good hands. It's very important, those points she has mentioned, for us to note that we are careful in rationalizing, prioritize value more than costing cutting. So that is what we refer to as smart scaling. Thank you very much. For leaders making painful choices such as what we have just described, for instance, cut costs, restructure, scale back, how do you balance realism with responsibility to people? Yes, you want to be responsible to good staff that have been on the journey with you, but the reality on ground is showing you something different. So how do you balance it? Thank you.
Well, as leaders, you take the painful ones and the sweet ones. That's why we are leaders. And in this economy where you have things like new tax laws that you didn't plan for banks, capitalization, and then the dual challenge of infrastructural gap, you have all sorts of things that are putting pressure on the business. You want to balance between your staff and the business. The thing is, just like they say, work-life balance, they are not mutually exclusive. You need your business, you need your staff, because the business cannot run without your staff. That is when you now do very, very objective appraisal. You have to get appraisal points such that when you want to offload staff, the staff himself knows he's not meeting the criteria.
Yeah.
Because things are tough. This is not the time to carry unnecessary baggage. So you have to get criteria for, targets. They know their performance targets. They know their contribution to the bottom line. So everybody will know who is doing well, who is not doing well by the standard you have created. And it will be objective, so that by the time you ask somebody to go, he knows you have been fair to him. I cannot kill my business and keep the staff. What will the staff be doing? I cannot drive away the staff. Who will be running the business? So we look at the non-performing areas of the business, and we let them go, or at least put them aside. I will give an example of COVID. During COVID, I can't immediately remember the name of this particular entrepreneur, but she's a popular woman who makes children clothing. During COVID, children were not going out. There was no need for fancy children clothing, but there was need for beddings, safety and hygiene clothing. And this woman, she had tailors, she had factories. She got all her staff to convert. The money she made from all those protective clothing and the beddings and the hospital uniforms were much more than she had been making from children clothing. So that after COVID, she opened a line for that particular business. So in times of difficulty, we have to do our cost-benefit analysis and decide how we will use the resources that we have optimally. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, because you have spoken to the important element in this, which is honesty. Because uncertainty demands clarity, not denial. So, and the flip side of what you have said, by looking at maybe the staffs that are not performing optimally, the other aspect of the business that is not really having the right value and things like that. The flip side is, even for those who are employees, workers that are listening to us, is to let them know that it's important for everybody to check with themselves, to know that they are creating value. Because at times when things are down, it is only those that are serving the purpose that would have that edge. So your response even serve both the business angle for the leaders and those that are employed, so that things are done more objectively, assessment is made, and you have to be seen to be adding value, to be relevant in the scheme of things before you can think that you have a place. So it's very important. Thank you very much for that robust response. Now, what internal signal or beliefs can cause leaders to panic prematurely or give up too soon in this uncertain time that we're talking about?
The first thing I'll say is that if you want to be in business and you are not an employee, then you must have an entrepreneurial mind. Entrepreneurs, they have ideas, they find areas of gap and opportunity, and they do their best to achieve that opportunity. And already they know that when you're an entrepreneur, it's not a flash in the pan kind of thing. In business, like I said, is cyclical. Depending on the environment, things may go up, things may come down, depending on the policies. But if you're an entrepreneur, you look at the down times as times of opportunity. I like to use examples. First Bank is going through some challenging times. The central bank has asked all banks to clean out their bad loans, whether it is 20 years old, 15 years old, and they have cleaned it out. But the media is making its round that the bank is going down. But somebody said, look at their financials. It is strong. If I were you, I will go and buy the shares now because they are cleaning up. So it is the same thing with an entrepreneur. When you see the difficult times, times that people assume are difficult, don't take it as being difficult. Think of what else you can do. Because some of these times that are camouflaged as difficult is an opportunity for you to sit back, look at what you are doing, and re-strategize. Sales may be coming down. Let's ask ourselves, why is sale coming down? There may be a change. Those days, people will go to restaurants to eat, but now there are delivery bikes to go and deliver food. People can order food online. So as a business person, changes happen. So if your financials are not doing well, if sales are not going as you expect them to do, you ask yourself, is it that the market is changing? Is it that the economy is changing? Is it that times are asking for me to review my business to do something else? For example, my source of raw materials may be drying up. I remember a lady in business. She was making chairs and furniture, and government banned furniture. She sat down and thought within herself, what will I do? The business was going down. I mean, she could see it. She now called her French suppliers of furniture. Can you come and set up a business in Nigeria? That was the beginning of turnaround. So if the financials are not good, if your supply market for materials is dwindling, it's not a time to panic. As an entrepreneur, the best thing that any business leader must have is the entrepreneurship mind. And the entrepreneurship mind says you must have the survival instinct. Your financials this year does not mean that your business is crumbling. And the accountants will say we are in it as a going concern. So until the business dies, it has not died. If your financials are not doing well, sit down and ask yourself, what am I not doing right? What can I do differently? What can I do to turn around my business? And one thing I always tell people is that don't ever think your staff don't know it. Bring the challenges before your staff. The idea may come from a messenger. The idea may come from a security man that will make the difference to your business. Somebody said, I have a God complex. I think so. When the Israelites were going to be killed, it was a slave girl that saved them. So we should never look down at the resource we have. Salvation may come from any of them.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. We have a good, solid contribution to what we have said so far from Dr. Aseyin, streaming from Abuja. It goes thus. In times of turbulence, investment in research and development is key. This provides direction, staff retention, and retraining would reinforce corporate resilience, survival, and growth. That is very, very true. Thank you very much, Dr.
Correct.
Aseyin. Well said. Well said. So you've really touched even on so many of the questions that's related to this, because your experience example had really been brought to bear in some of the things that happen in real life. So can you now share a strategic shift you made in business now that helped your business to survive and even thrive in tough conditions?
Thank you, ma'am. There was a time I have an event center, massive, and during COVID, business shrank a bit. But I know Nigerians love life, and it wasn't easy having to maintain when the income was not flowing. But I continued my advert channels. I continued my corporate social responsibility items. And then I had determined from the beginning that my furnishing and my little items were just going to be for the business, not for rentals. But when I saw the economy was down and I was paying staff from my pocket and my pension, I decided to rent some of those items. I decided to diversify. The things that I planned not to do, but which were not against our core values, I diversified into those things, and the income from those ones helped us to tide over those difficult times, because I wanted to focus on hall rentals, not on chairs, canopies, and all those things. They were the smaller items. But it turned out that they were a cash cow. So at difficult times like that, when you want to give up, you must remember your original why. As an entrepreneur, there was a gap you saw that you wanted to block. There was a need you saw that you wanted to meet. So when the business is going southward, you remember your why. And you remember a lot of people that depend on you. And you remember the part of the economy that you are oiling. You are paying so many staff, your suppliers, all the people, your creditors, your debtors, all those people, they are people that depend on your business. So as long as the business does not die, you sit back, like he said, you go for your research and development. And I want to say that the realities in Nigeria, there are so many. So for the leader who wants to survive, there's this what we call the leadership paradox. You have to take decisions on contradicting and competing demands. You know, should you delegate? Should you not delegate? Should you control and at the same time, you don't want to over control? You are thinking of the long haul, but you must take care of now. So as a leader, even when things are looking like they are going southward, you have to think of 3 pillars. The first pillar is that you must take care of your current business. You want to make sure that your current business remains. No matter what happens, you continue to feed that current business. Don't let it die. The second one is that you must innovate. Because if you remain with only your current business and you don't diversify or improve on it, others will come up and the market will go to those new people. So you must be faithful to what you are doing, but you must improve on yourself. You see product managers, they'll say new improved, new improved. It may just be the packaging. It may just be the color. You must innovate even as you keep your previous business, and you must think of the future. What will I do? Research and innovation, keeping the old business, keeping your core customers. They are the ones who refer. They are the ones who have proved loyalty. So no matter how downward things are going, keep your core business, keep your core customers, and also innovate, no matter how small. Any business without research and development will die sooner or later.
Thank you very much. Key words for us on that particular question is research, innovate, and keeping our core customers. Let us not look at research as a big word, because some people will say, what business am I doing that I'm going to be spending on research? Even the information gathering that you do in the market about your product or services is a form of research. You try to get feedback from customers. You try to feel the pulse of customer to know what they want or what their changing preferences are. It's a form of research. So let the word research not put you off. In every businesses, you are going to say something. Go ahead.
Yes. Even if you own a salon,
that's what I'm saying.
10 years back, nobody was talking of natural hair. They will tell you winter hair. But now to get a salon to do your hair, you'll be on the queue. So if you are a beautician and you stick to what you are doing, you will lose business. Even for these our nails that we polish, there was a time we used to polish bare nails. But soon they will tell you gel. Without gel, you can't do. And then without biab, you can't go. So these are things that develop, no matter how small your business. If it is akara, what is the new trend in akara frying? You may think it is small, but if you are a caterer or an event planner, now they serve boli and roast corn at parties. They no longer use breakable dish. They now use their ESG compliance. You now use paper plates, paper dish, and all of those. So that is still part of the research and development we are talking about.
Yes.
The chairs that we used for events 5 years ago, we can't use them now. We started with metal Chiabari chairs. Now you go to plastic Chiabari chairs. You go to another type of Chiabari chairs. That's research and development to be able to keep in business.
Thank you very much. You said it also. Any business, you can do research on any business. There's no running from it. It keeps the business agile and dynamic. Okay. What communication practices with employees, partners, clients, or customers, depending on your business, would help to maintain trust and morale without creating panic during hard times?
Thank you very much. I believe transparency, openness and transparency. If things are tough, let the staff know. And one policy that I picked up from my years in the bank is that no one customer discusses a business from the beginning to the end. Whatever I want to discuss in the business that is not strategic, I call a staff to come with me. And when I have discussed that business, I throw it open to the staff. Transparency does not mean nakedness. There are 3 levels of communication. There's the open one, there's the private, and there's the confidential. As long as it's not confidential, you should be able to discuss with your staff so that whether you are there, you are not there, any staff can speak on behalf of the business. And there's level of confidentiality. What you will discuss with your messenger or your security man is much lower than what you will discuss with the manager. But as much as possible, carry your staff along. There has to be transparency. There has to be openness. That way they have a sense of commitment. They have a sense of belonging. If they don't own the business, as in being part of it, they cannot sell your business to the third party. It will now be a situation of us and them. Oh, they are making all the money. Oh, they are eating all the money. If I take any money out of the business, you all see that I have taken money and why I am taking the money. So if I, who owns the business, is transparent to you, there is no reason why you should discuss business in silo or in secret. And I always tell myself, when you discuss a business all by yourself, you don't want anybody to know, there's corruption in that business. There's cutting corners in that business. So so there is no reason why you should not be open with your staff. It makes the staff more loyal, at least the reasonable ones. Those who will be corrupt will be corrupt.
Thank you very much. You said it. The loyal one. Definitely, that's what we all pray for. They are very scarce. Let me take the contribution Dr. Asenyi just made. It goes, put your asset to work, including your relationship capital and goodwill. Remain focused and value driven, and you have a turnaround. That is very good. In fact, it's already speaking to part of the question I want to round up with, because this issue of turnaround, and especially those that are first timer in this issue. Thank you very much, Dr. Asenyi, for all your useful contribution on the show. Pastor Maggie, I know we are going to run to this problem before we started. We've not even gotten halfway of our question list, but it's understandable because it depends on the value you are getting. In fact, it's like I should just allow you to be reeling it out without even stopping you, because there's so much from that fountain. Thank you, and God bless you. So as one of the questions, just to round up, because we're really running out of time, what advice would you give to an emerging business leader facing their first major downturn? Just 1 minute. What advice would you give?
Steady your hand. Steady your hand, focus your strategy, and lead. The future belongs to those who prepare and hold steady. So don't be shaken out of it. Know your why. So if you have your first downturn, sit back, do a review, and find out why things are not going well and move on.
Thank you very much. Before I even said it, there's already a request for a part two with you, Dr. Pastor Omage. I hope you will oblige us because there's so much to learn from the session with you. I will try and fix a return match. We all enjoyed it, and this is coming directly from our audience. Thank you for that. So I want to really appreciate it because my eye is on the clock, even though I don't want to look at it, but I have to. It's a it's a 1 hour show. But quickly, I need to say a very big thank you to you. I hope you not mind and consider also the batteries when we ask you to come back for a part two on this particular topic. Is very important. We will let you know when and at your convenience too. Then I would like to also appreciate our online audience, quite a lot of them, but those that have been able to pick, I'll quickly run through them before I recap the show. Wendy Garuba Ayeni from Lagos, thank you very much. Femi Jayesimi, thank you. Dr. Aseyin from Abuja, thank you very much and for your useful contribution always. Thank you very much. There is Esther Ogugwa, also from FCT, I think is one of our colleagues. Taiwo Ojo, also from Abuja. Rick Theodore, I don't know from where, I didn't get where you are streaming from, but all the same, we welcome you. Lucy Gudu, I hope I didn't murder that name. Forgive me if I didn't call it correctly. Then we have Kira and a whole lot of others that I may have missed. I saw the name just flipping quickly. So thank you all for joining. And those that have not even mentioned your name, I still appreciate you for joining. Thank you for joining us. We will let you know when we are bringing Pastor Omage back. We have to seek our convenience before we announce the time. Thank you very much for joining. So as we have a quick one from Femi Jayes. Yeah, Femi Jayesimi. Let me take Femi Jayesimi one first before Esther. Okay, leadership in uncertainty. Leadership in uncertainty is not only a strategic challenge, it is a psychological one. Leaders manage to surround themselves with trusted advisors and staff. That is also key. Have advisors. You can't do it alone. You are not in the terrain alone. You have other people that will share experience that will encourage you. Thank you very much for that contribution. We have another contribution from Esther Ogugwa. Navigating shifting policies can be super stressful. I can say that again. There are some tips that might help. Stay informed, keep up to date with the latest policy changes and updates. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And the second one is assess the impact. Evaluate how the changes affect your business, the people working with you, and your peace of mind. Thank you for that contribution. Oh, there's another one. The being adaptable. That is key. You have to be adaptable. That is already stressed in our guest response. Be ready to adjust. In our example, she showed that very clearly. Adjust your plan and strategies as needed. Communicate effectively. Keep your people informed and involved in the process. That is what endear ownership of the decision. Thank you very much. We have endorsement for second part with Pastor Omage. Thank you all very much. I have to quickly round up because the clock is ticking, and I appreciate all of you with your contribution. Makes the show richer. As we wrap up today's conversation, I want to say this to every leader listening. Uncertain times do not cancel your leadership. They reveal it. It shows the type of leadership you have. You may not control the economy. You may not also control the policy or markets, but you can control how you respond, decide, and lead people through pressure. That is part of what our guests have really stressed to us today. Uncertainty may shape the environment, but it does not have to shape our response. And that is the steadiness that we're talking about. Staying steady does not mean standing still. Very important. It means moving forward with wisdom, discipline, and courage, even when conditions are hard. In seasons like this, resilience becomes a strategy, clarity becomes currency, and values becomes the anchor. To every business leader watching us today, remember this: tough economies test structures, but they reveal character. They separate reaction from response, panic from purpose, and survival from sustainable growth. If today's conversation sparked a new perspective or strengthened your resolve, then we have achieved our goal. We encourage you to reflect on it, discuss it with your team, and apply what is relevant to your own context. Once again, I would like to appreciate all of you, and especially our special guest, Pastor Tokpe Omage, for doing a yeoman job with us today on this topic. Our next week episode will be on the new tax law, real impact, what business and individuals need to understand. I promise you that I will talk to Pastor, and whenever she will oblige us, I will also pass that information early enough for you to know there will be part two. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed today's show. If so, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort at Eyitayo. Once you have subscribed, please turn on the notification button, like and share our videos, stay updated with information about our upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account at Comfort Eyitayo, as well as my Facebook account at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, please let us stay informed, stay adaptable, and above all, stay steady. Thank you, and God bless you.